It's a fun time to be here. We're going to talk about the new discovery that I think Eric did a great job of introducing. I will be making some statements that are fairly forward-looking because we're very bullish on what we have. But first, a little introduction on the company. We built this company to basically make greenfields discoveries in top jurisdictions in Canada, where we've got assets in the Yukon, close to Snowline, and we've got a great big portfolio of properties in the Timmins camp that we spent a long time assembling when people were looking elsewhere. And we are into the very, very earliest stages of a new discovery, so it's TBD in terms of how significant it is, but we're very optimistic, and it appears the market is as well. As a group, we've got a lot of experience in the space, both making discoveries and in the capital market space, and we try to take a very disciplined approach to our allocation of capital. This will be entirely focused on our Timmins asset, our Argus North discovery, because I think people want to hear a little bit more about it. So I won't be spending any time today talking about the other projects. By way of introduction, we are in Timmins and the Abitibi. A lot of people know about the Abitibi, but I'm always surprised about people that don't, because it's produced, in terms of actual production, gold that's come out of the ground in Canada. It's produced over 90% of the gold that's come out of Canada. Over 200 million ounces. If you actually put that in Canadian dollar gold equivalent today, that's $1 trillion worth of gold that's come out of the ground in this part of the world. And within the Abitibi, the Timmins camp stands head and shoulders above the other jurisdictions. So all that is to say it's a very good place to be looking for more gold. There's excellent access, infrastructure, experienced miners. You can permit and build mines there. It's a really, really good place to find something. It's also, if you do find something, it's our view that you'll generally get the highest premium paid for your assets. We're in the business of making discoveries and then selling them to the big international mining companies who are the best at mining them. But we're good at finding them and de-risking them. And if you look at M&A activity, the buyouts in that part of the world, there's been almost $5 billion of M&A activity in the last 5 years, and I think that's only going to pick up with the price of gold. Just a little intro on to Eric's point on terms of the exploration space and why we like the exploration space. It's one of these, hands down, it's the place to create the most value. Hands down, it's the riskiest place in a sector to be in at the same time. And so as an investor, what you're trying to do is kind of weigh that risk against the reward. And one of the things I always like to do is share with audiences tools that I use when I'm evaluating other exploration opportunities. And the measure of your drill intersection, your first discovery drill intersection, doesn't mean the first hole into the project, but say the first drill hole in the first 5,000 meters that really hits it out of the park. If you just multiply the grade times the thickness of that intersection, it's a really good metric to say if you're in the ballpark. And if you look at past discoveries of significant deposits, say gold deposits over 2 million ounces, you'll find that 80% or more started with a 75 gram meter intersection. That's not to say every 75 gram meter or better intersection turns into a plus 2 million ounce deposit, but the vast majority of 2 million ounce plus deposits start with one of those. They all got to start from somewhere. The other point I want to make on this, everyone's seen the Lassonde curve on the side there, that kind of real value creating part of discovery. One thing I found as an investor too is chasing things where you go, oh, that got expensive. I think of Great Bear as a great example. It was an incredibly well executed discovery through sale over a relatively short period of time. It got to $1, I thought it was too expensive. It got to $5, I thought it was too expensive. It got to $15, I thought it was too expensive. Eventually it got sold out at $30. And when you get into some of these real things, just keep that in mind as you go forward. So let's look at it. Let's look at the discovery itself. So one of the reasons we really like it is the continuity of mineralization. In a place like Timmins, you can drill a gram or an ounce here or an ounce there over a meter or two. You can drill 50 meters of a half gram. But to be able to get sort of higher grades over consistent widths, it is not that common. And when you do, it stands out. And one of the things it does is it gives you confidence. You can step out from it, and your probability of hitting more are usually pretty good. I can hardly see what the numbers are on there, but if you look on there, like you run through each individual assay sample, that's what we've put on the left, the grade of each individual assay sample. And you get some higher grade zingers in there, but you definitely look consistently through there. It's solidly mineralized throughout. And when you get these wide widths, so what's shown here is the sub-interval of 34.5 meters of 5.4 grams gold. That sits within a wider zone of almost 70 meters of 3.5 grams per ton gold. And those are underground mineable widths and grades. And the beauty of underground widths and grades is it means you've got a lot more room to grow your ore deposit. Open pit deposits, you can take them down maybe 300 meters, maybe 350 if you're lucky. This gives you a lot more vertical extent to grow ounces. Also want to talk a little bit about how we made the discovery. We were focused on what was called the Argus Main. We were working our way along on that. And it was really the end of the drill hole. We weren't targeting it down there, but we always send a geologist out to the drill rig to look at the drill core before you shut it down. And he said, hey, this looks pretty good. And he let it keep going. He told the drillers to drill a whole nother shift, and they drilled a whole nother shift, and we were pretty happy, and they shut down. You know, it was shut down. Later, we realized we should have pushed that hole longer, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But it's a bit of good fortune, but a bit of being in the right place at the right time. And so shown here is just a plan map. That last view was a cross-section. And just to highlight for you, this was the zone we were exploring. We had hit like 130 meters at a half gram and stepped out in 100 meter centers, and we're hitting 60 meters of a gram, 30 meters of a gram. And it was really this zone to the north, which is entirely new. It's related to this big footprint of mineralization, but it's a separate zone entirely. We've just announced a 10,000 meter drill program. We've literally just announced that this morning, and the drill rig showed up on site yesterday, and it's following up on this right now. This is entirely open, so it's basically a new discovery that has one hole into it. Our plan is to go, well, first thing we're gonna do is re-enter this hole and extend it to depth, because it may stop here. We don't need anything wider than 70 meters of 3.5 grams, honestly, but we'll take it. And we're gonna go find out if there's more as we move to the left side of this slide. We don't know if it goes to surface, but we don't have any reason to think it won't. So we'll be filling in with drill holes up dip to try and take this to surface. As I say, these are great underground widths and grades. They're fabulous open pit grades. And we'll obviously be taking it depth. And then we'll step out either side along strike and continue from there. Scaling out, you know, we got into this area because we were focused on assembling a big land package in an area that we felt was underexplored. We knew there were big deposits, big endowments around in the neighborhood, and this is just a long section. The stuff on the far right is stuff we don't own. It's somebody else's. It's over 4 million ounces that we know sits right there along the same structure we're exploring. We did over 30 deals to assemble the land here. Patented claims have been held up for 100 years in private family estates. So a lot of this is essentially unexplored. And that was our whole thesis. Let's go in here, consolidate the land, and go about exploring it. We're on to a new discovery now. So our Argus zone sits out here, but you can get a sense of the scale. Our immediate priority is going to be this 3 kilometer section here. Our real immediate priority is just stepping out from what we know. But the takeaway from this slide is there's lots of opportunity for scale with this discovery. Speaking of scale, just scaling out, now we're looking at Timmins as a whole, the greater Timmins camp. This is about 120 kilometers east-west. There's a highway that tracks all the way along here. These are big, chunky properties. It takes a lot of time and energy and money to assemble a land package this large. Where we've been focused on this Munro Croesus area here, this property. There's multi-million ounce deposits all around us. We're on a package of ground that's been underexplored, and that is our agenda, is to make discoveries and grow them, and we're off to a good start. Another thing about established camps like this, there's lots of other people there. What I like about this, we just compiled the grade of the mines in the region and the excess milling capacity. All this is to say there's a lot of competitive interest in what we're doing in the region. It's also good to look at what some of the head grades are of some of these underground mines. Some of these guys are mining 2-3 grams over 3 meters down like 800 meters below surface. Young-Davidson mine is mining 2 grams over 1,500 meters below surface. So it just puts into context the grades that we've been defining here. Quickly, I think I'm running out of time. Just on the share cap in chair table here. This is a little out of date, only because we've had all of these warrants come down. As a relatively new company, we've got a very tight share structure with just 50 million shares out. There's less than a million. I think there's about 500,000 of these warrants left outstanding to exercise now, so those have come down. We just announced a financing after markets Wednesday, $5 million financing done at $1 with included alongside of that was a senior gold producer also participated and invested up to looking to get a 9.9% interest in the company. That was upsized to a total of $11 million, so we're totally capitalized to do what we want to do, finance to move this forward. I just wanted to highlight we've got a really nice registry of producers, solid blue chip institutions, and other high net worth guys involved. So in this business, you need an asset, you need money. Money is the fuel to explore. Without it, it's tough, so we can move it forward. But you also need people, and we've got a great group, both technically. Highlight Brock Coulter-John, who couldn't be here today. He's with an analyst up on site, literally as we speak. He's the CEO, real seasoned capital markets guy with a strong geology background. Ian Cunningham Dunlop, Connor McKinley, driving the technical direction of the company. And a great board, Mike Cinnamon, CFO of B2 Gold, Gwen Preston, who some of you may know from past MIFs, Kieran Patankar, and John Robbins and Garfield McVeigh as technical advisors. And I'm going long, but nobody seems to care too much, so I'll keep going. Just to put this into context of why we really like the Argus North, like these are factors that I think that give us confidence, or at least the potential for scale here. You never know. It's really, you got to drill more holes to know, but it's that discovery in the context of knowing the magnitude of the grade thickness of the intersection. It was a 237 gram meter intersection. Knowing that you're in a proven district with a tremendous amount of past production, and having multi-million ounce deposits as your neighbors is significant and important. Being proximal to a major crustal scale structure that is host gold deposits, those are important to be around. And also being close to a big footprint. We've already defined a big footprint with the main Argus zone, which is pretty interesting in its own right. And the fact that we have these bonanza grade veins around, that's what got us into the place in the first place. There's just amazingly rich gold samples that have been mined in the property, and that was the nucleus for us to grow out our property. Told us it was a place that had the markers for gold. So recap, exciting new discovery. We're at that very earliest stage of the discovery. It should be a fun ride if the drill gods cooperate with us. As a group, we've got a track record of managing things well and unlocking shareholder value, and we're fully financed to get after it with a lot of news flow coming very near term. Thanks very much.